Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, as you settle in and let the weight of the day slip away, I invite you to close your eyes, slow your breathing, and drift with me into the quiet spaces between the stars. If you find comfort in these journeys, in the way science and wonder weave together, I'd love for you to subscribe to the Wandering Neuron, so we can keep traveling together through the cosmos of thought and dream. And now, let us begin. Why do we exist? It is a question as old as human thought, whispered around ancient fires, painted on cave walls, sung in temples, pondered under vast starlit skies. Some have sought the answer in the realms of gods and spirits. Others have turned to mathematics and physics, tracing the threads of reality back to its first moment. But perhaps the truth is not one single answer. Perhaps it is a great tapestry, woven from both the measurable and the mysterious. Let us follow the thread all the way back to before there was something. Before the first spark, before light, before time itself, there was a silence so complete it did not even know it was silence. No stars, no space, no moments ticking forward. Only a sea of possibility, a pregnant stillness waiting to be born. Physicists sometimes call it the quantum vacuum, but even that name feels too crowded for what it truly was. Imagine an endless nothing that is not empty, a nothing humming faintly with the possibility of everything. Every galaxy, every planet, every thought you've ever had, all of it was once suspended in that formless potential. And then, a ripple. A fluctuation so small it could have gone unnoticed had there been anyone to notice it. But in the physics of the void, even the tiniest imbalance can ignite creation. Energy condensed, space expanded, and in a fraction of a second, the stage for everything we know was set. If time could look back on itself, it might remember that moment as its first heartbeat. We call it the Big Bang. But it was not a bang, not in the way we imagine explosions. It was a blossoming, sudden, unstoppable, a flower unfolding in all directions at once. The newborn universe expanded faster than light, a radiant mist of energy and particles filling what had once been no space at all. For 380,000 years, it was a searing fog where light could not travel freely. And then, as the young cosmos cooled, atoms began to form. Hydrogen, helium, the first building blocks. Light slipped free and began its eternal journey, carrying with it the story of that first dawn. Today, if you tune a radio between stations, a faint part of that static, the cosmic microwave background, is the echo of that ancient light, still whispering across the universe. It is the universe's baby photo, preserved in radiation, telling us, I began here, and so did you. But hydrogen and helium alone could not make oceans, forests, or human hands. The universe needed a forge, and so it made stars. In the quiet darkness, gravity gathered clouds of gas into great spinning cradles. Pressure built, heat bloomed, and then, like candles being lit across the cosmic night, the first stars ignited. Inside their fiery cores, something miraculous happened. Hydrogen fused into helium, helium into carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, the elements that make bone and blood, stone and leaf. Stars became alchemists, turning the simple into the complex, the light into the seeds of life. When those first stars grew old, they did not fade quietly. Some collapsed into dense, mysterious remnants. Others erupted in brilliant supernovae, scattering their treasures across space. Those scattered atoms would someday become planets, oceans, and, much later, you. Carl Sagan said it best. We are made of star stuff. And it is not a metaphor. Every atom in your body was forged in a star's heart billions of years before your birth. The universe was not just around you, it was becoming you. In the endless sprawl of the cosmos, planets are as common as pebbles on a beach. But Earth is different. It sits in what astronomers call the habitable zone. Not too hot, not too cold, just right for liquid water to exist. This thin band of possibility is sometimes called the Goldilocks zone, and our planet drifts within it like a pearl in the perfect tide. Water, the universal solvent, is not just a backdrop for life, it is its cradle. It carries nutrients, shapes landscapes, and flows into every cell. And on Earth, water has been here for billions of years, cycling endlessly from ocean to cloud to rain to river, never ceasing its quiet work. But Earth's perfection is more than just distance from the sun. Its tilted axis gives us seasons, preventing the oceans from freezing solid or boiling away. Its magnetic field shields us from deadly solar winds. Its moon steadies our wobble, keeping our climate stable enough for life to thrive. Are these coincidences? Or are they inevitable outcomes of cosmic evolution? We cannot yet say for certain. But what we know is this. In the great lottery of planets, Earth drew a winning number. And on this world, life began to write its long, improbable story. The earliest life on Earth was invisible to the naked eye. Simple, single-celled organisms floating in ancient seas. They did not think. They did not dream. They simply existed, dividing and multiplying, shaping the planet molecule by molecule. For nearly 3 billion years, life stayed microscopic. And then, slowly, cells began to work together, forming more complex organisms. Sponges, jellyfish, trilobites. Life began to crawl, swim, and take on strange, wonderful shapes. Evolution is patient. It experiments endlessly, keeping what works and discarding what does not. Fins became legs, gills became lungs, eyes evolved to read the light. And somewhere, deep in this process, nervous systems began to emerge, the first whisper of what we would one day call awareness. Plants learned to capture sunlight. Animals learned to move toward food and away from danger. And the slow climb toward consciousness, toward the ability to think, remember, and choose, had begun. Billions of years had passed since the first atoms formed after the Big Bang. And yet, in cosmic time, the story was still only just beginning. Many creatures can perceive the world, but self-awareness, the ability to perceive yourself in that world, is rarer. Somewhere, in our deep ancestry, a brain looked not only at its surroundings but inward and realized, I am here. From that spark, imagination was born. Memory became more than instinct. It became a way to travel through time in the mind. The future could be planned. The past could be remembered. And with self-awareness came something even stranger. The questions. What am I? Where did I come from? What does it mean to exist? Psychologists like Carl Jung have suggested that these questions arise not from individual thought alone, but from a deeper, collective unconscious, a shared reservoir of symbols, fears, and hopes carried forward through countless generations. We became not just survivors, but storytellers. We painted our hands on cave walls, not to mark territory, but to whisper across time, "I was here." We began to map the sky, to name the stars, perhaps without realizing we were naming the atoms that would one day become us. The spark had caught, and there would be no turning back. From here on, the universe would not only exist, it would know it existed. Carl Sagan once said, "We are a way for the cosmos to know itself." And when you pause to think about it, that idea is as humbling as it is beautiful. For most of its history, the universe existed without eyes to see it, without minds to wonder about its origins. Galaxies spun, stars burned, and planets circled in silence. But on at least one small world, something extraordinary happened. Matter became aware. Your eyes, the ones reading these words or closing in the dark as you listen, are made from atoms born in ancient stars. Those atoms, through an unbroken chain of events, learn to see, to think, and to wonder about their own origins. When you look at the night sky, you are not just observing it, you are participating in it. Every thought you have about the stars is itself made of stardust. And in this sense, the universe has, through you, turned its gaze back upon itself. Curiosity is not a luxury of the human mind. It is a survival instinct written deep into our biology. It is why we seek patterns in constellations, why we ask questions about the before and the after. The cosmos is telling its own story through our questions, and perhaps through our dreams. Life does not grow in perfect stillness. It thrives in the space between chaos and order, a delicate balance where stability meets unpredictability. Physicists call this the edge of chaos, a zone where systems are neither frozen nor completely random. Too much order and nothing changes. Too much chaos and nothing lasts. But at the edge, that is where complexity blooms. Look at a galaxy. Its spiral arms seem like art, yet they are born from gravity's pull and the restless movement of billions of stars. Look at a forest. It appears wild, yet it follows the quiet rules of seasons, growth, and decay. Even our thoughts are like this, a dance between the structured logic of reason and the unpredictable leaps of imagination. Perhaps this is why life exists at all, because the universe itself moves to this rhythm, weaving chaos and order into something that can grow, adapt, and endure. We are not outside this dance, we are steps within it. If the universe has a language, it is not spoken in words, it is written in mathematics. From the orbit of planets to the curve of a seashell, the same patterns appear again and again. The golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence, the precise constants that shape the laws of physics. Mathematics is not just a tool we invented, it is a reflection of the universe's own structure. It is the alphabet with which nature writes its poetry. The motion of tides, the shimmer of light through a crystal, the spiral of galaxies, all of it follows rules that are both elegant and unyielding. And yet within these rules, there is room for boundless creativity. Just as a small set of musical notes can create endless songs,
the laws of physics have given rise to an infinite variety of forms, from the wings of a dragonfly to the rings of Saturn. To study these patterns is to listen in on the conversation the universe has been having with itself since the beginning of time. And in understanding that language, we come a little closer to understanding why we are here at all. Time is the silent stage upon which existence unfolds. Without it, there would be no before, no after, only an unmoving eternity where nothing could change. From the moment the universe began, time has been flowing in one direction. Physicists call this the arrow of time, and it is shaped by entropy, the gradual spreading out of energy, the tendency toward disorder. But within this drift toward disorder, life does something remarkable. It creates temporary pockets of order. A cell repairing itself, a tree growing from seed to branch, a human mind gathering memories and imagining futures. Time allows cause and effect, action and consequence. It gives us the ability to learn from the past and prepare for what is ahead. It also gives us one of the most human experiences of all, nostalgia. When you remember a moment, you are briefly stepping backward along time's arrow, holding something that can never be fully returned to. In this way, time is not only the backdrop to our lives, it is the very texture of them. Without time, there could be no story, and without story, perhaps there could be no meaning. Consciousness is the most intimate mystery we carry. We can describe its mechanics, neurons firing, chemical signals crossing tiny gaps, but the essence of awareness, the experience of being, remains beyond full explanation. Some scientists see consciousness as an emergent property, something that naturally arises when information is processed in a complex enough system. Others believe it may be a fundamental feature of the universe itself, like space and time themselves. Think of your mind as a small window through which the universe can look. The colors you see, the music you hear, the thoughts you hold, they are not separate from reality, they are reality, filtered through the shape of your awareness. When you dream, you create entire worlds that vanish upon waking, yet feel as real as anything you've touched. When you love, your brain and body release chemicals, yet the experience transcends mere biology. In this way, consciousness is both science and poetry, a gift the universe has given itself so it can not only exist, but feel its existence. Stand under a clear night sky, and you might feel two things at once: how small you are and how deeply you belong. The universe is vast beyond measure. Our galaxy alone contains hundreds of billions of stars, and there are billions of galaxies beyond that. By sheer scale, our lives seem like a fleeting flicker, gone almost before they begin. Yet, in another sense, we are inseparable from the whole. Every particle in your body was shaped by forces that stretch across the fabric of space and time. You are the outcome of events that began before the Earth itself formed. Meaning, then, may not be something we find out there. It may be something we create in here, through connection, curiosity, and compassion.
Perhaps the vastness does not diminish us. Perhaps it invites us to see ourselves as part of a grand and unending story. When you look up at the stars, they are not indifferent pinpricks of light. They are family, ancient, distant, and made of the same matter that beats in your heart. Life is resilient, but it is also fragile. Across Earth's history, there have been moments when everything nearly ended. Mass extinctions, sudden, cataclysmic events have swept away entire worlds of life. Asteroids have struck with the force of millions of nuclear bombs. Volcanoes have darkened the skies for years at a time.
ice ages have locked the oceans beneath frozen armor. And yet, each time, life has found a way forward. Sometimes it emerged transformed, opening new chapters in evolution's story. The very fact that you exist means your ancestors, every single one of them, survived their own moment of peril. This fragility is not a flaw. It is part of the beauty of existence, the awareness that what we have is precious, temporary, and not guaranteed. Knowing this can make life's moments feel sharper, richer, more urgent. In the cosmic sense, our existence is a rare and delicate flame, carried through billions of years of uncertainty, and it is ours to protect. We often speak of survival in terms of food, water, and shelter. But for humans, survival is also built on something softer, yet just as essential: connection. From our earliest days, we huddled together for warmth, hunted in groups, shared stories around firelight. We learned that we are stronger, safer, and happier when we belong to one another. Love is not merely a poetic idea. It is deeply biological. It releases chemicals that soothe stress, heal wounds, and strengthen the immune system. It keeps parents devoted to children, partners loyal to one another, friends bound across distance and time. Art, too, is part of our survival. Long before written language, humans painted, carved, and sang. Art carries knowledge, encodes emotion, and connects minds across centuries. A song written hundreds of years ago can still make your heart ache today, bridging time as easily as space. Perhaps love and art are the universe's way of ensuring that the gift of consciousness is shared, not hoarded, that we remember always that we exist together. If we are a way for the cosmos to know itself, then we also carry a responsibility to shape what comes next. We are the first species on Earth capable of altering the planet on a global scale, for better or for worse. Our choices ripple outward in ways we cannot always predict, from the air we breathe to the stability of climates to the survival of species beyond our own. And yet, we are also the first species with the ability to reach beyond our home. We have walked on the moon, sent probes past the edge of the solar system, and glimpsed the light of galaxies billions of years old. These are not just feats of science, they are acts of cosmic participation. One day, our descendants, human or otherwise, may carry Earth's story to other worlds. They may plant seeds in alien soil, or look up at strange skies and remember that they too are made of the same stardust.
Our role, then, is both humble and vast: to care for this fragile world, to seek knowledge without arrogance, and to carry forward the story the universe began when it first learned to dream. If you sit perfectly still, if you let your breath fall into the same rhythm as the darkness around you, you may begin to sense it, a quiet heartbeat beneath existence itself. It is not the beat of your own heart. It is something deeper, something older, a pulse that began long before you, before Earth, before even the first star took its breath of light. Physicists call it cosmic background radiation, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang. It is the universe's first whisper, stretched and softened over 13.8 billion years. It hums in the silence between galaxies, in the space between atoms, in the stillness between your thoughts. And yet, there's more to it than physics, because if you look closely, this ancient hum seems to tell a story. That everything, from the swirl of a galaxy to the flicker of a candle flame, moves in rhythm with this invisible pulse. Even your heartbeat, even the way your mind drifts when you dream. If the universe were a great ocean, then this pulse is the tide. And we are waves upon its surface, moving because it moves. Look at the spiral of a galaxy. Now look at the swirl of a hurricane. Now look into the center of a sunflower. Different in scale, yet shaped by the same pattern. The golden spiral, the Fibonacci sequence, a ratio written into the very fabric of reality. Why should nature choose such shapes? Why should the universe across billions of light years arrange itself into patterns that also bloom in the smallest seed? The answer may be simple. The universe loves efficiency. These patterns allow energy to flow, matter to arrange, life to grow with the least resistance. But there's another answer, a quieter, more poetic one. The patterns are the universe's signature, its way of leaving behind little hints, little brush strokes, so that one day some small, curious creature might notice, and in noticing, feel connected to something vast. You are that creature. You have already been reading the universe without realizing it. In the curl of smoke, the curve of a shell, the way branches split into two, then two again. Perhaps these patterns are the universe's way of saying, you belong here. You were always part of this design. If you hold up a mirror to yourself, you see your own reflection. If the universe holds up a mirror, it sees you. Think about it. For most of its history, the universe simply existed. Stars burned, planets spun, but nothing watched, nothing wondered. And then on one small, fragile world, life began to look up. Eyes evolved, minds emerged, and the universe, for the first time, became aware of itself. Carl Sagan once said, "We are a way for the cosmos to know itself." That is not poetry, it is fact. Your thoughts, your curiosity, your hunger to understand, these are the universe folding back upon itself in recognition. When you ask, why do we exist? You are the universe asking the same question of its own being. And maybe that's the point. Not that we are here to serve the universe, but that we are here to be the universe. Awake, breathing, thinking, dreaming.
Long before telescopes, long before space probes and satellites, humans looked at the night sky and imagined it as a great instrument. The Greek philosopher Pythagoras believed the planets moved according to hidden harmonies, that their distances and speeds formed a kind of celestial music. He called it the music of the spheres. Of course, space is silent to our ears, but when modern astronomers measured the orbits of planets and moons, they found something remarkable: ratios, symmetries, patterns that echo the mathematics of music itself. Jupiter's moons, Io, Europa, and Ganymede, lock into a perfect 1 to 2 to 4 orbital rhythm. Saturn's rings ripple with wave patterns, like frozen sound. And even the sun plays. Its surface vibrates in cycles, producing low-frequency notes that resonate across the solar system. We cannot hear this music directly, but if you could translate the universe's movements into sound, you might discover that existence has always been a symphony. Perhaps we exist not only to see the stars, but to listen to them. Time is strange. It flows around us like a river, yet we cannot touch it. We cannot store it. We cannot step outside it. To us, it feels like a steady march forward. But Einstein taught us that time bends, stretches, and warps, depending on where you are and how fast you move. On a mountaintop, time runs slightly faster than it does at sea level. Near a black hole, it slows almost to a stop. Over deep time, the time of the cosmos, stars are born, live for billions of years, and fade into darkness. Continents drift, oceans open and close. Even galaxies themselves dance together, collide, and merge. In your lifetime, you will experience only a blink of cosmic time. And yet, in that blink, you can witness the afterglow of the Big Bang, the light of ancient stars, and the whispers of atoms formed in the hearts of long-dead suns. If space is the stage, time is the sculptor, shaping the universe moment by moment. And perhaps our role is to be the witnesses to its art. On the surface, the world seems solid. We trust what we can see, touch, and measure. But peel back the layers, and the familiar begins to dissolve. In the quantum realm, particles can be in two places at once. They can pass through barriers as if they were ghosts. They can influence one another instantly across vast distances, as though space itself were an illusion. Some scientists believe this is just the tip of the iceberg, that beyond our 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time may lie hidden dimensions curled up too small for us to see. Others imagine entire parallel universes, each with its own version of you, living out different paths. We do not yet know if these possibilities are real, but what we do know is this: reality is far stranger and far richer than our senses can grasp. Perhaps our existence is not limited to what we see here and now. Perhaps we are threads woven into a tapestry that stretches far beyond our sight, a tapestry the universe is still weaving. Every second, countless beams of light cross the universe. Some have traveled for mere moments. Others have been on their journey for billions of years, long before Earth existed. Light is more than illumination. It is a messenger. A photon leaving the surface of a star carries with it a record of that star's heat, its age, its composition, and the time it was born. When astronomers look deep into space, they are reading an ancient library written in light. The color tells us a star's temperature. The faint stretching of its wavelength tells us how far away it is and how fast it's moving. Even invisible light, like infrared or X-rays, reveals hidden processes shaping galaxies and black holes. In a sense, light is the universe's handwriting. It writes across the darkness, spelling out the story of creation one photon at a time. And when that light finally touches your eyes, it completes its journey. A journey that may have begun before life even existed here. Think of every moment you have ever lived, every thought, every dream, every choice. All of it, the laughter, the grief, the curiosity, is built from the firing of neurons in your brain. But those neurons are built from atoms, and those atoms were forged in ancient stars. Your consciousness is not separate from the cosmos, it is the cosmos, arranged in a way that can think about itself. Some philosophers call this panpsychism, the idea that consciousness may be a fundamental property of reality, present in some form everywhere. Others imagine we might be living in a kind of simulation, a grand design run by laws we cannot yet see. We cannot prove either, but in both cases, the message is the same. You are deeply connected to the whole. You are not a visitor in this universe. You are a mirror in which it sees its own reflection. Section 24. When the universe dreams. What is a dream? It is the mind rearranging its memories, weaving new worlds, testing possibilities. Now imagine this on a cosmic scale. Stars are born and die, galaxies collide, new worlds appear, each with their own landscapes, oceans, and skies. Could it be that existence itself is the universe dreaming? Each star a spark in its sleeping mind, each life a fleeting image in its imagination. Each question we ask a part of that dream, shaping where it will drift next. We think of ourselves as small, and in size we are. But in meaning, perhaps we are vast, because without us, the universe would have no way to dream at all. If you like, I can now move into sections 25 through 27, where we take this deeper into cosmic endings, rebirths, and the possibility of meaning beyond time. Want me to flow into that next? You said, and now end it. All right, let's guide your audience gently to the cosmic horizon and close the journey in a way that feels complete, comforting, and unforgettable. Here comes sections 25 through 27, bringing it home. Section 25. One day, far in the future, the stars will go out. Hydrogen will run low. Galaxies will grow dim. Our sun will swell into a red giant, its warmth fading into cold silence. And in the unimaginable distances of time, even the last black hole will dissolve into nothingness. This sounds like an ending, but perhaps it is simply one movement in the universe's larger symphony. Because endings, in nature, are always followed by beginnings. The atoms in your body were once in other stars. They will one day become part of something else, another world, another sky, another consciousness. The light will not truly be gone. It will simply take a different shape. Many traditions, from Hindu cosmology to modern physics, suggest the universe may be cyclical. A grand breath that expands, contracts, and begins again. In one theory, after the last star fades, gravity will gather everything back together into a single point, and from that point, a new Big Bang will erupt, creating new galaxies, new stars, and new worlds. If this is true, then perhaps you and I, and all we know, may return, in some form, in a universe yet to be born. The faces may be different, the skies unfamiliar, but the questions will remain. And somewhere, someone will look up at the stars and wonder why they exist. So, why do we exist? Science offers many truths. We are the product of chance and physics. We are patterns written in stardust, shaped by time. Philosophy offers others. We exist to know, to feel, to create meaning where there was none. But maybe the quiet answer is this: we exist because the universe wanted to be seen, because it wanted to hear its own music, to touch its own light, to dream its own dreams. And in the hush between one heartbeat and the next, you can feel it. The infinite looking through your eyes. The stars are not just above you, they are within you. And every breath you take is the universe reminding itself, I am here.